I'm Christina Bergen, and I'm reading for Xanthippe.
James Savatko, reading for Socrates.
Kevin Herman, reading for Apollodorus.
Mitch Owens, reading for Zenas.
I'm Jeremy Johnson, I'm reading for Alcibiades and the narrator. Xanthippe, Scene 1, a street in Athens. Socrates stands in a trance on a front porch at right. After a moment, two young Athenian men, Apollodorus and Zenas, enter from left. Apollodorus is a rogue and Zenas his friend. Apollodorus in particular is good looking.
The old man's really been giving me a hard time about coughing up the dough this time. What does he expect me to do, get a job?
I know. Parents can be so unreasonable.
I mean, he acts as though it's my fault the damn horse broke its leg right in the home stretch. How was I supposed to know that was going to happen when I made the bet? Well, anyway, as the great Homer says, all's fair in love and war. Which is definitely good advice for dealing with one's parents. One way or another, I'm going to get the money out of them, even if I have to... That has got to be the ugliest statue I have ever seen. How could somebody try to pass an eyesore like that off as a work of art?
That's not a statue, Apollodorus. That's Socrates, the wisest man in all of Greece.
Oh, Pete, you! So that explains it. I wondered what that horrible smell was. They say he doesn't believe in taking a bath at least once a month, like the rest of us.
It's not that he was raised in a barn. It's just that his mind is occupied with more vapory, vacuous, philosophical things like being and becoming, instead of vulgar, unimportant things like the body and bathing. That's all. He's the guy who figured out that the truly wise man is he knows nothing. That's why the oracle at Delphi called him the wisest mortal alive.
Well, it sounds like a fool's wisdom to me. So I guess that means every jackass you meet is a genius. Or a philosopher.
No, you're missing the point. There's a difference between knowing nothing and knowing you know nothing.
Oh, of course, I see. Silly me. Sort of like if you're stupid, but you know you're stupid, then you're actually smart, huh?
Very funny. You just don't have the makings of a philosopher.
Thank you. But I know an old bum when I see one. And for somebody who doesn't know anything, they say he's pretty good at sniffing out all the best dinner parties. And by the way, where are his shoes? Oh, but I forgot. He probably doesn't need any. I suppose his head is so light with all those thoughts of the heavens it's full of that he usually just floats along up in the clouds somewhere. He doesn't spend much time down here on Earth. And another thing, can you please tell me why he is just standing there like a damn bump on a log? I guess all that food and drink he sucked in at Alcibiades must have temporarily grounded him. If he needs some assistance getting a move on it, I'll be happy to give him a little help.
Don't you know anything? You've been spending too much time at the law courts and the horse races. Everybody knows that every once in a while, Socrates gets so wrapped up in thinking something really deep and awful that he just loses all touch with reality and goes off on his own little world somewhere. Sometimes he just stands there all day, off in another dimension.
You mean Dada Land? So you're telling me that if I went over there and gave him a good slap upside the head, he wouldn't know what or who the hell hit him, literally.
Yes, exactly.
Well, there's only one way to find out for sure. You wait right here. Starts walking to Socrates.
Wait a minute. Apollodorus, you're not going to assault the greatest philosopher in all of Greece, are you?
Still walking.
Hey, wait up! Clinias wanted me to make sure Socrates was coming to his dinner tonight.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. If there's free food and booze, you can be sure Socrates will be there. It's easy to be poor and run around looking down on everybody else when you've got plenty of rich friends to leech off of. I don't buy this trance thing for 1 minute. These quacks will do anything to make a name for themselves. He's a fraud, and I'll prove it. I'll bring him back to reality.
Apollodorus! For God's sake, don't! You'll kill him.
All right. Get a hold of yourself. I wasn't really going to hit him.
Yeah, sure.
Be quiet and watch this. Pardon me there, old man. Sir, can you please tell me the way to the nearest brothel?
Apollodorus.
All right. Let me try something else. Grabs his nose. That's a mighty big nose you've got there, sir.
Apollodorus, stop it right now. Get away from him. Besides, it's not going to do you any good. I told you, when he's philosophizing, he's just like a zombie.
Now, he may have taken you all in, but he doesn't fool me. This guy's not off contemplating the universe somewhere. The only deep thoughts he's thinking are about who he can bum his next meal off of. Wait! I know how to get his attention. Say, Zenas, my man, where's the party tonight? At Cleinias's? And did you say Alcibiades is going to be there, right?
Breaking his trance. Party? Alcibiades? Did someone say something about a party and Alcibiades?
See? What did I tell you?
Under his breath, sir. Knock it off! Socrates, I'm glad I found you here. I wanted to let you know about the party tonight at Cleinias's. He wanted me to make sure you got his invitation.
Well, thank you, Zenas, my fine young friend. Eating is good for the soul, or at least it beats starving. And who, may I ask, is your fine, handsome young friend?
This is Apollodorus, son of Callias.
It is most definitely a pleasure to meet you. You are indeed your father's son. Quite the picture of good health. I hope all is well with Callias. He and I used to have many conversations at the gym.
Yes, he's warned me. Told me all about you.
I've been trying to enlighten Apollodorus here by telling him all about your philosophy, about how you don't know anything, or, how you know nothing. Well, with the sense he's getting himself deeper all the time. But he's skeptical. I don't think he's a philosopher.
Zenas, philosophy is concerned with the head, not the heart. The heart is the part of the body that has all the dense, warm blood in it. The head, however, is where the light, airy thoughts swirl around.
Speaking of airy, it does seem a bit windy in here all of a sudden.
Shut up.
After all, it is a well-known fact that people tend not to philosophize as much when their heads have been removed.
Don't give me any ideas, old man.
Zenas hits him again.
Not everyone is cut out for the study of philosophy. Just a select few. Maybe we can talk it over more at dinner tonight. My fine, vigorous-looking young man. Maybe I can convert you. All I know is I know nothing, which I'll prove to you if you talk to me long enough.
So I've heard, but I do think I've pretty much mastered the main part of your philosophy. Is there anything more to it than just being ignorant?
My basic philosophy routine, for dinner parties, of course, is first I prove I don't know anything. Then I prove you don't know anything. And then, if the wine lasts, I prove that nobody knows anything. And if it turns into a really riotous drunken brawl, I pull out all the stops and drink everyone under the table discussing virtue.
What's amazing is nobody's ever seen Socrates drunk. No matter how much he drinks, even if he's been at it all night, he's just as sharp as ever and can out-argue anyone.
Yes, I've wondered about that. How exactly is it, Socrates, that you remain so completely in control even if you drink enough to kill a horse or two? Is it because of your philosophy?
Oh, well, no, my young friend. It's just that over the years, I've developed...
A high tolerance?
But what amazes me even more than his ability to outslosh the biggest lushes who've ever lived is his ability to withstand Alcibiades' charms. If you don't mind my mentioning it, Socrates, even Alcibiades mentions he never had any luck with you. At one of Agathon's parties not that long ago, Alcibiades told everybody about how he made a pass at Socrates once, but Socrates completely ignored him. Alcibiades thought that just because he was so good looking, he could seduce Socrates without any effort, if he really wanted to. So he waited one night till after dinner when everybody else had left, and he and Socrates were alone. It was during the winter, so Alcibiades seized on that as a pretense for putting his cloak around Socrates and holding him in his arms, saying he just wanted to keep him warm, which, by the way, I think would have been pretty thoughtful of him if it had been true. But anyway, Alcibiades was sure Socrates would try something if he did that, but even though Alcibiades held him all night, When the next morning came and it was time for Socrates to leave, nothing more had happened than if they had been brothers sleeping together.
Well, I'm glad I'm not in your family. But I agree. That certainly is a very unusual display of denial and self-control. I mean, it must have been very hard to allow one of the best-looking men in all of Greece to hold you tight in a bear hug all night and not just get up and walk away. Sounds as though he's got the old hard-to-get routine down pretty well.
From off stage. Socrates, I see you there. Where have you been hiding all day? Just wait until I get my hands on you.
Holy Zeus, Xanthippe. She's found me out. Well, gentlemen, I've really enjoyed our little check. My inner voice tells me it's time to run. Hide. Bye.
He sure hightailed it out of here pretty fast. That doesn't seem very philosophical to me. What happened to his otherworldly detachment?
You'd be scared too if you had a wife like that. Oh no, here she comes.
Where did that no good Socrates sneak off to? I saw him standing here talking more of his damn nonsense.
He took off in a hurry, like a witch was after him. In that direction.
I'll come back and scratch your eyes out later, my smart-mouthed young man. She hurries off in the direction of Socrates.
You better watch it. Believe me, you don't want Xanthippe on your case.
I'll take my chances. So tell me, why did he marry her anyway? She's so hard to get along with. Did they have to?
No, of course not. Why does anybody get married? I guess he's a glutton for punishment. My parents fight all the time, too. Don't yours? I think that's what married people are supposed to do. Socrates does seem to get a bit of a raw deal, though. Usually a marriage is pretty much a toss-up. The wife fights with her mouth and the husband with his hands, so it's pretty much an even battle. But Xanthippe does both. First she nags him, and then she beats him.
Well, if he lets her do it, he's only got himself to blame.